Okay guys, Brynolf here again. I just listened to the first video and I noticed I probably should invest in a better mic, but hopefully it's bearable. The worst part is when I pull popcorn from my pot to put in my pant pockets. So I'll try not to do that. Anyway, let's keep going. And see where it takes us. Okay, stuff is happening. But the British Parliament intervenes in Benelux. Doesn't really matter. And we're rapidly going down this tree. That's good. Actually gonna take us to speed 5 since it's, peacetime. Concentrated industry is just plain better in my opinion. And we get it at extra speed, that's good. Spain is peaceful, but probably not for long. Usually it's about this time. Breaks out. Gonna modify our government and let's see which is it. We got a civilian economy now, and we can't switch it because we're not fascist yet. Anyway, otherwise switching to war economy is really good as a first move when you're fascists, or generally just if you can. Another one is let's see, captain of industry is good. Silent workforce, because it gives you more political power. It takes, I think it's about 450 days or something for it to pay itself off. And yeah, I think fascist demagogue is just really good right now. Let's see, the Finnish people have a noble history, a history they've been made to forget under the weak and cowardly rule of Kesk. Not that guy, it's a party's Kesk. Where was I? They claim to represent the people, but can so feeble a state enforce the will of the people? Only by spilling the blood of these traitors can we fulfill our destiny. Wow. We don't we don't start out, nice and, try to win people over. We're like, fuck you, you're gonna die. The fascist speakers in Finland have made no secret of what they think of our current rulership and political system. Speeches like these have tapped into a public dissent that is particularly pronounced in the more conservative sections of the military. We have shown that the higher-ups may harbor unspoken sympathies, increase the chance of internal support for a fascist coup. The younger generation will take up the torch. Popular support of a fascist coup. Internal support or popular support? I'm not quite sure what that means. Younger generation and, popular support. Screw popular support. I think the military, that's where you find the fascists. Go for it. Make Finland great again. Let's see which ones is it we're supporting. IKL. I'm not gonna try to pronounce that, it's just crazy. Anyway, we're increasing. That's good. Actually, I think it's about 10% of Finns actually speak Swedish. I mean, I assume they speak Finnish as well, but they do speak Finnish because for a very long time Finland was part of Sweden. I mean, historically, Finland has been, sandwiched between Russia and Sweden, and they've surely gotten the short end of the rod. But they're free here. you know, there's, you know, no hard feelings in real life, but for me right here, you know, playing the game, we hate the Swedes. We wanna invade them. We wanna, you know, flip it on them. See how they like it. Which is, you know, fun, because in real World War II there was actually... Ooh, right. Pause. First, away with that. Fascist sympathies in the military. Yes, this is what we wanted. Several high-ranking members of the Finnish military have expressed support, some privately and some openly, for the fascist movement in Finland. They feel the Kesk has forgotten how important discipline and patriotism is to keep the country together, and are increasingly annoyed by the army being treated by the government as more of a tool than one of the nation's most important institutions. Some of them go as far as to suggest that new government is needed, one that knows how to lead Finland with strength and tradition for the next half of the century. This faction may not predominantly be politicians, but some of them have gained positions in the Department of Defense. In these departments, if these developments continue, they may have sufficient political support to execute a coup. That's good. Insufficient a coup can be executed. Yeah. So, need public support, if I understand correctly. And stop unpausing when I don't want you to. Infrastructure efforts. Infrastructure is... Let's see where it was. It was in Patsamu and Savo. So... Savo and... there, Petsamu. Petsamu, not Patsamu. That's... And I'm blind to it. I didn't see these two ones because they're so small. So Pats... It's kind of pointless. Savo maybe. I mean... I don't know how much it will matter, but I mean, it's on the way. We can't avoid it. And it's not gonna hurt us in any way. Anyway, what I was saying, during the World War, Part 2, this time it's personal, Swedes did help Finland to some extent. Not officially, but there were quite a few volunteers, from what I understand, that went to Finland and fought, and there were Finnish children were sent to Sweden to live in, you know, safety during the war. So, you know, kind of, you know, made up for the whole subjugation thing. What's happening in Spain? Finnish concentrated industry, and yeah, the classic one. Germans really excel at the Olympiad, and you know, they were obviously not using steroids or something or like that. They're just, you know, Übermensch. They're just, you know, superior to everyone else. I think about going for support weapons. I like that one early. You know, for even though it's just defense, it's you know, applies to pretty much everyone. You know, not tanks, but we don't have any tanks. That's otherwise something we might wanna get. Landed doctrine is really nice. Let's see. Synthetic oil. I mean, if it was a shorter research time, I'd get it, But you know, that much research time, and then on top of that, it's a really long build time. It's just not worth it. I mean, it's easier as long as we can trade for it. That's a better approach, because then we just have to build a civilian factory, which takes less time and doesn't require the research. I think it's a little early to go for the next stage. We're gonna get at least a few months forward first, so let's for now just get the tanks. Alright, maybe some of these should be exercising. I mean, that's gonna cost us some material, which we have way too little of. Probably not worth it. I mean, we were 7,000 deficit and now we're 4,000, so that's good. And we're moving forward on all fronts, but, you know, metaphorically. I mean, having our military at 50% efficiency is not good. Italy has beaten Ethiopia. Didn't take too long. Sometimes they're way into 37 or something before they beat them. They took all of it, right? Gee, the border gore. Can't imagine why they'd end up at war. My last campaign was funny to see, you know, Italy had the greatest icon because it was just Italy, all of Africa, because I didn't care for it really. There's not that many resources there, and it's a lot of, it's hard to supply, and it's a lot of ground to cover. I mean, it's the biggest continent. But it was funny, it was a really big icon for Italy there, and then, you know, in Europe you had to zoom in to actually be able to read the icon of the mainland. Kind of funny where, you know, 90% of Italy was Africa. We're at 19.67, 19.7. It is taking up, slowly but surely. And I'm guessing we need majority, so we need to beat out... Is the IKL? Yeah, I think. Not the IKL, that's us. We need to beat out Kesk. We'll probably take them. They're at 69.89. Assume we need to beat them out, or is it that we need 50%? Well, guess we'll check once we reach it. Really peaceful in the world. Nothing really going on. I don't think I've ever had a start to the game this peaceful. It's really scary. I mean, I know how to handle war by now because I've played the game enough. But I don't know how to handle peace. I mean, it's really scary. Anything can happen. Anyone can go to war with anyone. War, there's certainty. You know where you stand. Peace, that scares me. Ironically. But that's how it is in this game, at least. You know, in real world, I prefer peace. Moving on rapidly. Soon we reach the research. So now we're at 9 factories only use, and 5 of them are used for construction. So, you know, about 66% more than we started with. That's, you know, pretty big advancements in less than a year. We're 10 months in. things are moving quite slowly compared to what it will be. I mean, once things heat up, they tend to heat up good. Now we're talking Spanish Civil War. Time to slow down a bit. We're at 6% wall tension because of the, let's see, declared war. Spain declared war on Spain. Italy sent 3 volunteer divisions, German Reich sent 3, and Soviet Union sent 5. How many can we send? Is it just 1? I mean, or I can't send at all? Too low world tension. Yeah, because we're not fascists or communists, we're not allowed to send at all. Come on, Kesk. Give way to the real men, the men who know how to make Finland great again. I can make it to early mobilization. More, because it's more than 4-5% world tension, which slightly decreases consumer goods, probably not gonna make a difference. Conversion and factory building becomes much cheaper or faster. Conscription, I can bump it down only, which I'm not gonna do, obviously. For extensive conscription, what do we need? Tour, enemy strength. Okay, either at war or fascist is gonna be one that does it, but it's probably fascist probably gonna happen sooner. This whole row helps with research and some minor buffs, so probably gonna go up here. I mean, Captain of Industry might be nice to get some civilian factory construction speed. 10% boost. It's actually less than going to early mobilization. This is a small what we need for partial mobilization. 15% world tension. We'll get there pretty soon, I think. War economy requires yeah, war or fascist. So I mean, we'll wanna go. And total mobilization is only at war. This decreases the recruitable population, which is something I don't like. And the problem I have with these tooltips sometimes is that, you know, minus 3%, is that minus 3% of the total population or the recruitable population? I mean, let's say we have 1 million total population in Finland, just for the sake of argument, and 10% is recruitable. That would leave us with 100,000. Recruitable population. Now let's say that lowers by 1%. Is that 1% of 1 million or 1% of 100,000? And it can get confusing sometimes because many games, they're not consistent and they don't even think about that there are 2 ways of looking at it. But you know, details that probably are not worth getting into right now. I'm just gonna go with the silent workhorse because, you know, it builds up over time, getting more political power. We keep going and bump up the speed a little again, since we can't actually send anyone to fight. I can't see the troops, but I can see the borders, so it'll be interesting to see when they start moving. Yeah, because if you notice there, we have the nationalists moving in on, is it Navarra here? It's interesting because it's quite an even fight, you know, with Italy and Germans on one side and Soviets on the other, and it pretty much depends on who sends tanks and who doesn't. That tends to be a big factor in this war. How are you doing? So slow. Come on. We want war. No more peace. I mean, optimal would be if we get fascists and get to attack Sweden and win before this war is over, but I mean, realistically, that's not gonna happen. When last I played as Germany, I did go for Sweden as soon as possible. You know, as soon as I had 56 power points, which you accumulate at double the speed, I started fabricating, and I declared in October. I declared on them, and you know, just rushed through, and it was no problem getting through in time. But there's a lot more to do here. Now, I'm thinking about radio here, because radio leads to two things. First of all is the radar, you know, detection of, but that's mostly airplanes, and we have no airplanes. So, I mean, they support our fighters and help us find others, but we could just forget about air superiority for now. So let's put that off. It might be good to, you know, move on industry quickly. Do I want more efficiency or better building? Normally I go for efficiency early, but right now we don't have that much industry. What we really want to do is build up our industry. Get more of it. Now build more factories that help us build even more factories. That's the plan for now. Wait, did I send them out there as well? Huh, I done goofed. Yeah, good. Return home. You're not old enough to see war. It would just frighten you. How's it going here? Nothing over there. The Republicans are pushing a bit here. There is a lot of fighting we can see. Yes, we're at the research slots. Time to really get cracking. You know, get some tanks. And, you know, beef up our army. How are we on supplies? We're really starting to get somewhere. I'm thinking about maybe it's time to start exercising, because exercising also gives us experience, which we can use to change the templates of our divisions to make it better. We're fighting at 63% efficiency. That's, you know, it could be better, but hey, I'll take it. Put them in a separate army, so and they can still stay here, I think. Just make sure they're not, you know, something. Totally forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, just in case you think why the hell isn't he recruiting? Well, because we don't have the supplies, simply. We need to supply the troops we have before we start thinking about getting more of them. I mean, we're 0 manpower, we're minus 2,500 rifles, or, infantry equipment, and minus 154 support equipment. That's one's moving forward, fairly. It was at 250, I think, last time I checked. I mean, it's not looking good for the nationalists right now. Let's see. Threat of communism. Kallio would have you believe Finland stands safe and united. It is no surprise such lies have poisoned the minds of our people. When a snake is coiled up next door, look no further than across our border to see countrymen having turned on each other in the name of communism, declaring the end of nations. How long until they declare our nation dead as well? Will the Kesk protect us from this threat? The growth of the fascist movement in Finland has been bolstered by the proximity of the communist revolution. Great! One way they can help out at least. Many moderates who might normally dismiss fascism as another misguided ideological experiment find this to be a very real concern for them as well. Given the choice between the communism of our neighbors and a fascist regime, they would admittedly prefer the latter. They might even be willing to actively support it. We will be the vanguard against the red threat. Change of popularity of fascism 20%. Nice. Starting to get somewhere. Ooh. I think it literally just bumped us by, 20% out of 100%, not out of the 26 we had. That's awesome. We're almost at 50%. By the way, where was Kesk? 47. So we're at 46.25, and there is 47. We'll pass them any day now. And then the shooting begins. But you know what? That's gonna be in the next episode. Because, we're want to have too much fun. Might ruin my pants or something. So I hope you've enjoyed this peaceful... No, I don't want you to enjoy this peaceful time. I want you to be frothing at the mouth and looking forward to the Civil War and the rise of the Winter Warriors. And I hope I see you again next episode for that. So have a good time, everyone, and see you later.